Meanwhile,
Luke
Casey
needs his secrets.
Avoid. Casey's the opposite of Mike TV. Instead of being in a white space, he's just living in a black, empty hole.
And I've got the Liching Hour down here. I went ahead and got him an invite in for the Luke's Lounge because I figured, someone interesting and new to bring in.
Hey,
that's great.
Duff's watching in Twitch. Are we streaming this?
Yep.
What?
Hey, Casey, if you were talking, I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I hear you.
Okay.
You changed shirts.
Great. Oh, look at that.
If we're going to be streaming this and recording it, I figured I should probably be a little bit more appropriate. So.
All right, I'll start recording if you're okay with that.
Give all my Jerrycan shirts to my kids, so none of them will fit me.
Brought them all. Have you been working out a lot?
Yeah, sure.
Arms won't even fit in the sleeves anymore. Yeah, it's a terrible problem.
Well, he's doing the whole pushbacks, because you got to push back from the desk, and then you gotta squat down into the chair, and you got to carry those gaming books, man. He has got to bench all those classic Greyhawk books that he's sitting there and hauling off,
and all those Trollord games stuff that I'm buying now.
I will tell you that as a fat man, I do not appreciate the volunteer shirts being orange because I look like a pumpkin.
That was not intentional.
Noted.
I looked at other items, other ways to, identify volunteers. Maybe a hat is a good way. I mean, we thought about a sash, so you could be like I don't know, like either a Wookiee or what is it, Mr. Warg or what it is, Mr. Worf?
Klingon.
Klingon, yeah, Klingon.
Mr. Worf.
Mr. Worf, that's right. Something along those lines to designate people. So I'm not sure what makes sense on how to do it.
Duff's saying, Casey, that your shirt is backwards, but I'm seeing it normal on me. So
I'm trying to flip it. I saw it already.
No, I see it normal.
Looks normal.
I think that Casey's the one who's streaming it to Twitch, so I think he's mirrored on his own.
Yeah, it's probably a Twitch flip.
Oh, that's why we got to have Casey. That's why he's got the black background, so he's just a little dude in a chair in the corner.
That's right.
See, black is slimming, right? So,
I mean, look at me. I'm in black.
Right, but Casey with the black background, black shirt, he sits there and looks very stickman-like.
Not just a hat rack, my friend.
He almost looks a little bit like, oh my gosh, damn it, the 80s, the guy who was just in a TV box and would be like,
Max Headroom.
Max Headroom.
Max Headroom.
Oh, Max. Well, Max Headroom flashback there, yeah.
I think they got their money.
I'm going to go ahead and edit the category so other people can turn on their video.
Okay.
What's that?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine for first on Discord, if we had 20 people, I'd be shocked.
Do a roll. Just do a quick roll and just slap rolls on people.
You
did it?
Everyone can turn on their video. So we should see more of the people.
Hey.
By the way, for those of you who are not aware, you have most of your Discord admins here. Myself, Zerathon, KC, Buffrin, and Luke, of course, is a competent Discord admin.
I'm a Discord
honorary title in some cases.
Yes. This is like my honorary PhD that I've gotten. Yeah.
That's
straight from the box of Cheerios that we got.
Yep. Yeah, I am here. I am in Discord, and really, no one had to help me figure. Well, okay, minor figuring it out. It was basically I didn't look below the hashtag Luke's Lounge 3 places to find the Luke's Lounge video channel. So that was the hard.
Luke,
I
the
think it's safe to
important
say we
part is
probably
that
had it
you're
in the wrong
here.
spot.
You
You're
know,
on Discord, and I'm proud of you, Luke. I'm proud of you.
I salute everyone for your courage, who would normally only be doing physical cons, but I know a lot of people converted last March and said, "What the heck? Why not?" And we've seen a lot of those people continuing to return. So, yeah, great job, us. Yay!
Yeah. Hey, we've got Steven on Discord. All right.
Hey, Steven.
All right.
Where's it daytime still?
Howdy.
I can't help but to be involved with the virtual ones. I got this disco thing going that, can't really bail on it.
Dude, Joe, please tell me you're going to premiere your latest disco module at GaryCon 3.
Yes, Disco Boogaloo and the Skatorama.
Oh, we got skating in there. Yes. That was
Yes.
that was a very important piece.
Yes. I don't know how we missed that when you and I worked together, but this time I managed to work in roller derby to it. So, yeah.
Awesome. I have a buddy of mine who's on a roller derby team in Madison, Wisconsin, and I will go up there every time I get a chance.
So my question is where is it going to go from there? Because if disco is defeated, is there going to be like a rock and wrestling connection, or what's the next thing? Like where do we go with it? You know.
I'm looking at my wall. I have little backstory here. When I used to work in an Irish pub, and we ran regular D&D sessions there every week, and we had dry erase boards. And when we closed, I took one of the Dungeons and Dragons dry erase boards. It's hanging on my wall with everything I'm working on written down on it. And honestly, I don't know where I'm going. I could have a run of adventures based around the dragons, the 5 chromatic dragons. I've got another trilogy in the works. I have a second path off of Valor Palace. So there's a lot of stuff I can go from. I just don't know where I'm going yet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the beauty of it, right? We can kind of go wherever our mind takes us, and it's pretty easy to put stuff together. I worked with my friend Flint Dilly did a bunch of Jesus. Of course, I'm going to draw a blank. All right, so it was the precursor to Pokemon Go. Where you'd go around and you worked for one faction or another, and you had to control portals. And it was a science fiction game. God damn it!
Was it? Oh God, I don't.
Inverness.
It was done by Niantic Labs. Let me find it.
Is it Portal?
No.
Something like that. Niantic Labs.
Inverness. It was like a cyberpunky, like you had to hack nodes and stuff. It was Inverness.
Yeah, Ingress.
Ingress. Thank you. Ingress was in the game. Yep. Ingress. So he worked on Ingress. He was like the lead story guy for Ingress for a number of years. I think he just recently left that. But sometimes the storyline doesn't perfectly mesh, and people would pick out holes in their chat forums and stuff. But then other people would be like, no, that's because of this, and they'd create these wonderful solutions to the incongruity, and then they would just read it and go, yeah, that's totally the case. It was great. You would just steal from the fans who would come up with these elaborate reasons why something they did worked. So that's fun.
Very old DM trick.
That's how I run my games. Is my players come up with clever solutions to things I haven't figured out yet, and I'm like, yes.
You know, the other thing I like about
Exactly
this is
what
it gives
it
us a nice
was.
little stress test for the Discord and seeing how bad we can get it, and then at what level we're on stuff here.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, I'm glad that we're doing Discord. It was actually way easier. It was not hard. I was a little
Well,
prejudiced
right now
against
you
it.
don't have a whole con that's sitting on your shoulders there, and you're like, oh my goodness, we've never done this before. You're not going through that extra stress. You're not, I'm assuming, not on your laptop right now. You're probably at your desktop. maybe a little bit more relaxed. You're not sitting there and being like, I've got a game to run in 5 minutes. Give me instant knowledge now, please.
Yeah, it's a little bit more laid back. You're right. This is a good test run, and I think the only issue is we got to convince other people to be able to do this who aren't comfortable on Discord, because I think Zoom is super easy. That's pretty much idiot proof, right?
Let me
Yeah,
tell you,
and you know what?
Chris.
You're making a great step on progress to helping us with that by being on here. Number two, we have this whole time period there before when's GaryCon again? Since this is being streamed, may as well plug, right?
Oh yes, GaryCon 13 will be held March 25th through 28th, 2021, on Discord, the GaryCon server, as well as our Twitch channels. Will be streaming some great content there with some of your favorite well-known streamers.
Outstanding. And I've heard from someone they weren't sure if game signups were open, so maybe it'd be a good time to cover game signups, how long it's open till, and whether or not they're open right now.
Well, you know what? Signing up for games, it's not open quite yet. We're still accepting game submissions. So for a virtual convention, we usually push those deadlines closer to the actual convention to allow for more opportunity to submit games and to have a wider selection. When you run a physical convention, you actually have to plan table space and those sorts of things. So it's a little slower. So we typically open that up in January. I believe the badge event registration for our earliest for the elemental badges starts March 9th, if memory serves me correctly. But if you need that information, go to tabletop.events, GaryCon 13, and it will give you all of that information clearly listed there. One thing I do want to say is that GaryCon, there's a lot of virtual conventions out there. So why come to GaryCon, right? I mean, heck, GaryCon is about hanging out together and drinking a cold beer out of a cool, stadium cup and talking to all these people face to face. Well, virtual Gary, obviously we can't do that right now. So obviously I prefer being able to see everybody as well as.
Hell, we can't.
We can't. We just can't do it, man. It's. I had COVID early in December. It was no fun, and mine was a mild case. And we sure as heck don't want to, expose Tim Kask or Jim Ward or any of these other venerable gentlemen.
No, but I hang out and drink on Discord all the time.
Yeah, and here it's safe, right? I can't give you any COVID here, and we're fine. But why would you do it? Well, it's a great value. For a $20 badge, you get access to all 4 days of GaryCon. And included with that right now, we have 7 days of premium access to Tabletopia, which is a board game VTT. And that'll have, I believe it's over 1,500 games that you can play with your buddies virtually. You guys share the board. There's dice rollers, all that sort of stuff. So it's, you can play your game, play with your buddy you haven't seen, whether they're in, Asia or just down the street. You can play a game with them there on Tabletopia, and even better, we have 3 months of Fantasy Grounds. So we're gonna have 3 months of Fantasy Grounds available. Plus, everybody will get a GaryCon module already converted into Fantasy Grounds to compatible with Fantasy Grounds, just for buying a $20 badge. If you buy a larger badge, there's more stuff that comes with it, as well as the great virtual swag that everybody's accustomed to. So you're getting $30 about, maybe a little bit more worth of value from buying the $20 badge. So I think it's a great deal, and we're looking to add to that. So it may grow, knock on wood. So that's just one reason you should come to GaryCon. Otherwise, of course, we're looking to pack great events in there. If you are a GM, we still need you. We're still accepting events all the way up until March 8th is when we're accepting events. So if you want to try your hand, my goal, and I was talking to my point of contact at Smiteworks right before this meeting, right before this Luke's Lounge. I want to get everybody on Fantasy Ground in February. So there's a whole month and a half to gear up for GaryCon, which you can get comfortable with it. If you want to run games, you'll be able to. I want to get a couple GaryCon modules converted into Fantasy Grounds so that people have that opportunity to run them there, and we can really test it. I heard it's a good virtual tabletop. I struggle with that sort of stuff. I am, as we alluded to, I'm more of your let's link up by Zoom and shake our dice in person kind of guy. Maybe I'll show you some pictures or whatever it is. But having the shared map and the fog of war and all those things is really cool. And being able to learn that and use it would help me because I'm going to start GMing for, I will have a turn to GM. We're going to do rotating game master. I'm going to play D&D again with my friends from Germany when we were all kids. We went to Desert Storm together, and we stayed friends all these years. So my friend Gene, Eric, James, and Dan Hippensteel and Dan Gauze, we're all going to play D&D, and we're going to try to pull in a couple other old friends. So we haven't, I've seen those guys at GaryCons, but that's it. So that's why I started GaryCon.
Just to reemphasize on Tabletopia or Tabletopia, they're also including the game library. So there's stuff that, normally you would have to buy some of the content in order to play, just like you would normally buy a physical board game. With this package that they're including, you're going to get a whole library of stuff for the weekend. So it ought to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is their top tier. It is their top tier access for 7 days. So for the whole week of GaryCon, you will have access to, I believe it's over 1,500 games.
Wow, that's a lot better than any games library I've heard about for a hot minute at conventions.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke.
Yeah.
We had a comment from.
Oh, go ahead.
We had a comment from Antiquitas 2004 on Twitch, who said last year was fantastic. Looking forward to this one. I just wanted to address that comment with saying that last year was fantastic, but we found out 2 weeks before the con that we were doing virtual, and it was an absolute scramble. And I honestly think it was the DMs who were so flexible to move to online that really made it successful. And it was the people who love the community that made it work last year. And man, a big shout out to everybody who came through for doing that.
Yeah, 100%. That was any credit for that really does not go to me. The world was going crazy at that point in time with COVID, and I'm a National Guardsman, so that was it was a very busy time period. My real job, but everybody banded together to make it happen. Everybody pitched in. Everybody was flexible. We had like 2,000 people and like 600 events. That's pretty good. I don't know that too many conventions have met that. Maybe Gen Con or something, but not too many others.
Well, I know Casey and Mike get a lot of credit too for last year for that success.
Yes.
100%. A lot of credit with both of you. That was amazing. I went off so well, better than I expected.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's exactly what the community needed was, hey, we all, everybody was bummed about it, but we said, all right, what are we going to do to get through it? How are we going to make this better? And they leaned on those guys with the technical skill, because even at that point, very few of us were embracing this, but we just kind of grudgingly went into it and discovered, hey, this is actually pretty fun. This isn't so bad.
Yeah, I had a wild idea 3 years ago to create a Discord channel because I thought Discord was neat, and I wanted to create one for GaryCon, and suddenly it became useful, like in a hurry, and it was wild.
Yes. I remember that. They're like, there's this Discord channel, man. I don't care about Discord. Right. No way! I'm not doing it. Get off my lawn.
Another IM app? What?
Hey Luke, how have the some of the kind of the old timers, the legends, adapted to the online? Do any of them kind of need help? With running a game that they might be, afraid of the technology and not wanting to jump in.
No, it's all perfectly seamless. There's no issues whatsoever, right, Matt? Yeah.
I thought you were serious for a second.
No, I think I would say that there's some guys just won't do it at all. They just refuse. So believe it or not, my brother, I was talking to, I was like, hey man, what are you gonna run for Gary Con? He's like, well, I don't really like running online. I was like, okay. He's like, I'll run in person for people who are here. I was like, it's not really very good for the business though. That's kind of kind of. He's like, yeah, well, and I was like, okay, all right. So he doesn't like it. Mike Carr isn't particularly attuned to virtual stuff, but guys like Jim Ward learned because he said, man, I really want to play and I want to stay in contact with people, and I think he's found it liberating. And Tim Kask does his curmudgeon in the curmudgeon in the cellar or whatever he does, or
Right.
curmudgeon in the cave, or
Seller.
yeah. And I think he loves it because Tim loves to tell stories. He would live to go to cons and regale people with stories, and now he can just do it from his basement, right? Curmudgeon in the basement. What the hell he calls it? I can't remember.
He's also doing the Wheel of Blame now too.
Yes. Yep. And he's doing the Wheel of Blame. Yes. So I think that he has been able to take what he would typically enjoy during a convention, and now on as he desires basis, be able to do it. And I think he doesn't have to travel. He's found it much more convenient. And so those are a couple of cases where they have really fully embraced it. Sure, there's sticky points. But you know what? I mean, gosh, dealing with me when I'm all grumpy and stuff, I'm probably no better or worse than Tim Kask and Jim Ward. And I'm
To be
significantly
fair,
younger.
you were okay when you were stressing about like, oh my god, I'm gonna run this on Discord. Holy crap! And yeah, I'm haranguing you on stream because
Yeah, that's all right.
it's part of the duty, man.
No.
Everyone gets the business.
If you can't break someone's balls a little bit, come on, we gotta be able to do that. Let's not be too sensitive about stuff. It's gaming community is close. We're a friendly group. I think we're accepting of other people, and you better be able to take some and share some jokes. Not be overly sensitive. Of course, you gotta mind some boundaries, but we're a big community. We're a big group of friends, and we should be able to share that. I think what also I have noticed through, especially smaller conventions, maybe more so. GaryCon specifically, that's the convention I have most experience with. People are very approachable there, and I think what I've noticed or noted is that most people say, "Wow, it's really neat to be able to go up and talk to this person who I enjoyed their materials growing up, and wow, I got to meet them and have a drink with them and ask them this esoteric question I had about whatever it was, and man, they're really cool, and I see them every year and say hi or whatever the case is. Because the game designers are people too, right? And they probably very much enjoy people reading their works and asking questions and knowing that their materials is relevant, years later. And speaking of years later and being relevant, I have to say I'm pretty happy with the way that Gaxmoor 5e has been received by people who've gotten it. That was a lot of fun to write. We did that in like 2000, I think, if I remember correctly, for 3rd edition. And I didn't know, my brother Ernie was working at the Game Guild, which was the hobby shop that replaced the Dungeon hobby shop in Lake Geneva. And it was run by Margaret Weiss. And I believe her husband at the time was a guy named Don Perrin, who was kind of the on-site manager. Or he was there a lot, and Ernie was working as a manager there as well. And one of his duties was to run a D&D game. And they said, well, this 3rd edition has come out, so why don't you run an adventure? And Ernie was like, well, okay, I'll do this adventure. He's like, I don't really want to learn the rules. So he's like, hey, Luke, figure out the rules and write all this stuff down. I'll just kind of give you my notes or whatever. And so that was the beginning of Gaxmoor, and I DM'd that for anywhere from 8 people to like 22 at the Game Guild every Saturday. It was a lot of fun. And we just created as we went along. I started on the outsides, and then we kind of filled it in as they went towards the end. And here it is 20 years later, and people are still enjoying it. Kids, like little kids that were playing at the hobby shop, now have their little kids playing D&D. And I think it's pretty cool they get to play in Gaxmoor.
Yeah, I'm waiting for mine as well, Luke. Thank you for your invite to your lounge.
Yeah, of course. Good to
Very
have.
nice. Hey, I'm a Valley guy from way back in the '60s and '70s. So you out in Calabasas, that was one of our haunts out
Yeah.
there. Oh yeah, Sagebrush Cantina and the world.
Yeah, Calabasas is great. It's a great place to raise a family. They have good schools. It's pretty quiet, overall. So I enjoy it. It's good. It's a good community and close to everything.
All right.
So yeah, I really like Southern California. Oh, look at that map. Alyssa Fadden just really killed it on that map. I think she did she Twitch her going through the map and doing all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah, her maps. If you watch her Twitch streams, her cartography Twitch streams are absolutely a joy to watch.
she's pretty cool. She's a pretty neat person. So I feel real lucky to have struck up a friendship with her and had her work on Gaxmoor. I had actually long ago, 2014, I think. I was working on bringing. Might have been 2015. I was working on bringing my first Blighted Lands module, the Lost Temple of Darwa, I think, or whatever it was, that BL1. We're going to bring that to life as a 5e product through TSR Games. But the ill-fated deal with Gale, where they signed off and saying they recognized her trademark on the name Gygax. Ernie and I withdrew from there, and I withdrew from that product. But otherwise, I've had my first 5e product out there at BL1. But Alyssa was brought in to do the maps, and sadly, we didn't get to close that product. Oh yeah, there's the Blighted Lands compilation, BL1, 2, and 3. Typos are included free of charge in that one, just so you know. But yeah, that's all in 1E clone. Actually, I think the first two used the Eldritch Enterprises Gamer Common, if you guys remember that old company.
Mine actually has beer spilled on it from Gary Con.
Oh! Look at that! Oh my God, Legendary Adventure is good stuff. Yes, those are from
damaged copy.
Yeah. I mean,
I remember when that
soaked
came
in
out.
spotted cow, so that's okay.
Yes.
Leave it to the Australian to have them right at hand.
I picked these up for a song. $40 Aussie, including postage. That's like 28 US.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Arrived in the post yesterday.
Oh, congratulations on your purchase. Yeah, those are
How
fun.
is everyone today?
My dad loved running Legendary Adventures, and honestly, a lot.
Reaching for.
Really, a good game has less to do with the rule system. I mean, rules are somewhat important, but it's really about your GM and being able to work with the story and read your audience and just have fun. Legendary Adventures was a great time.
Rules are
D&D was
terribly
fun.
important.
Dangerous Journeys was a great time. We actually played Unhallowed first. So Dangerous Journeys was the overarching rule system, and Mythos was the first one that was to be published, the fantasy stuff. But we play tested Unhallowed, which was essentially like kind of like a vampire game or something like that. A horror role-playing game, a Cthulhu, Call of Cthulhu kind of thing. That's what we play tested. And he did that, gosh, when I was in junior year of high school, maybe we started playtesting that. So it was fun.
Hey Luke,
Incredible.
How many times did your dad kill your character Melf?
Melf? Never. I was an elf, so if I died, I would be dead. There was no resurrection of a demi-human.
In the old like 1E and all that, how did you survive? Because that was a meat grinder. Was it just some daddy love there? You just kind of maybe pull punches, or?
No. No, he killed Otis. Otis was a 10th level Ranger Lord. I played him. I was like 10 years old or younger. Maybe I think I was probably 10. And he killed me in the Tomb of Horror.
From Twitch.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the name? Are there elements of Blackmoor there? And that was from Bone Digger 666.
No, it has nothing. It has nothing to do with Blackmoor. Although Blackmoor is a great name, it's a cool name. I dig it. But no, it is actually because there was a guy named David Moore who was a prisoner who was corresponding with my brother because he wanted to purchase. He's corresponding with the game guild, the hobby shop, and he was the manager, so he would reply to them because he wanted to get products sent to him or whatever in prison, right? And he would draw maps and send them in. He'd be like, "Oh, hey, I made the maps of this sort of stuff." And so my brother, when he was coming up with a name, he's like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll include David Moore, his name in homage, a shout out to the maps that he had written and drawn and sent to my brother and the correspondence they had." And so it was called Gaxmoor.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Wow,
I think that's the first time I told that story. So yeah.
D&D is banned in most prisons because the dice, they think it's a gambling thing.
Yep. Yeah, that's just cruel because Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, whatever. I'm a Law and Order kind of guy for the most part. However, really, is there a reason to take away the ability to enjoy and have a mental escape through playing a role-playing game? No, but you don't need dice. The good thing is, you could use cards and you can use chits, right? You could make little chits and draw in a bag. So there's other ways around that.
Yeah. If we're honest about gambling, let's be realistic. You can gamble on anything. Racing rats, roaches, whatever you can find.
When I was in the Army, we used to throw quarters at the wall to see who could get closest.
Yep. Oh, we used to, we would put scorpions in a box and see if they would sting each other. For the most part, it was really boring though because they just wanted to avoid each other. So.
And now it's a trap in Gaxmoor.
Yeah, I did put a lot of scorpions. Those fire scorpions in the blighted lands are rare. And this was fun. In BL1, I put in the fire scorpions, and they don't breathe fire or shoot fire or anything like that, but their poison goes through and feels like fires. That's how they got their name. But what I thought was funny is like a beetle has a carapace, right? And I think they spread like a carapace and kind of float or whatever. So because I'm cruel and I guess, I don't know, maybe I was mistreated as a youth by my father in his game.
Wow, I'll try.
No.
Hey, Joe, you're feeding back into us.
You're kind of loud there, buddy.
Yep, this is the hazards of online gameplay. For those of you not familiar with that, sometimes we learn a little bit more about you than what we need to know.
That's right.
And usually, why I'm a big fan of push to talk. It takes a little bit to get used to, but after you adapt, yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah,
comms discipline, right?
There you go. Yeah, totally. All right, so I can't remember what the hell. Oh, the fire scorpion. So, like, beetles have a carapace. So I figured, well, scorpions could have maybe, mutated a carapace or some weird wizard created. So I have them jump and glide. So my thought was, the scorpions, yeah, it's gonna be harder to hit those hit the fighters up front with the low armor classes. But if they can jump over the front rank and get to the spellcasters and back, that'd be like a lot more fun. And they're the poison they have, if you fail, if you get stung and you make the poison save, no big deal, right? You're all good to go. But if you fail it, it has 5 rounds of potency. So the first round is 1d4 of damage. The second round is 2d4 of damage. The third round is 3d4, 4d4, 5d4 of damage. So you will really you'll feel that ramping up of anxiety and what's going on with your character. It also has a nice side effect in first edition of making sure that those spellcasters can't cast any spells. So I think that's particularly evil and vile.
Antiqua has a pretty good question here. Antiqua 2004 is asking, including a number of instructional and creative events in the, i.e., paint sessions, etc. as well this year, again this year.
I would love to see that. Now, of course, I can't guarantee it unless I were to run those events. But any of you who are listening or seeing this, if you want to do some painting events, that's great. And in fact, I should probably hit up. I'll make a note of this right now.
I know that Reaper was talking about wanting to do some stuff as well, or some people were talking about stuff doing with Reaper.
Yeah, and so I think getting Jason and maybe reaching out to some of my, I guess I could get Tom Nelson, who's the Midwest miniatures guy, and maybe the
Oh man.
not the Iron Druid, but
So while you're making that list, I'm gonna read you another
Yeah.
one that throws you off. Ryan from Session Zero Clothing says, general RPG question. Are there any rules or mechanics that you are not in 5e that you wish carried over from other editions?
I think 5e is pretty solid, man. It's well balanced, and if there is a rule that I wanted to carry over, I would simply house rule it and just let people know that's the case. And I think it's flexible enough that you can do that. So Merle's is he's a 1E guy. He enjoyed playing 1E. He told me that his home game was 1E all the way until he finished or was working on 5E. And then once he finished it, he switched over to 5E because he enjoyed it and had that 1E. It hit the important elements of first edition to him. So 5E is a solid game. I have nothing bad to say about it. If you prefer first edition, you prefer fourth edition, play it. That's you want to play Pathfinder, Castle Crusades, Swords and Wizardry, DCC, whatever you want to play. It's a game, and it's about what you and your friends enjoy and the stories you want to make and the way you want to do it. Fun stuff that I like. I guess they took some of the wonkiness out, so everybody has a longsword now, right? So all your spellcasters have cantrips they can throw continuously that do damage. So I don't know. That's fine, but I enjoy my wonkiness of 1E. So I don't know
Luke,
if
you're
that
wrong.
answers.
The only answer was Thaco.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I want the armor class that goes 10 to -10. That's it. Oh my god!
And you need a science degree to work it out with.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
I know. I'm being funny.
Yeah.
So,
Engineering degree.
great question. Antiquos has a great question here, and there's a couple people I know are stacked in the chat at the moment here with us on stream who'd be able to answer this a bit, I believe. So Antiquos 2004 is asking, hearing we should expect a larger Greyhawk presence this year.
Yes, those guys are fantastic. So Jay and his team have worked together, and they've kind of brought in all the Greyhawk, the vast Greyhawk community, and we're even going to have a Greyhawk Twitch channel where we'll be streaming all these cool Greyhawk games all GaryCon. So are they going 24/7 or they're going 24/7 all GaryCon?
Yeah, they've got a full schedule all weekend. Last I checked, they had like one slot free, but we've got that
so
entire
they've
channel
killed.
filled up.
They're absolutely killing it. Huge representation, and I appreciate it. I mean, gosh, there's so many conventions out there that are virtual. There's things competing for people's time. They all banded together and said, "Hey, let's do this great GaryCon or Greyhawk tribute at GaryCon."
Hey Jay, did you fill that slot yet?
Hey Luke, thanks. I just hopped in.
Hey, I see your logo. All right.
I don't have my video up because I stripped down after my show. So
and we're all grateful that you give that up.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, man. I know there's a lot of
Now I'm
orange starch
disappointed.
and other stuff that happens after these shows. You got to get off all the makeup. It's just not a good look.
Yeah.
So we have like three open slots over the 24 hours of the 4 days, and two of them are 5 o'clock in the morning. So on 2 days, and then Chuck from Troll Lord is probably going to fill the Thursday slot, which is in the morning, but everything else is completely covered. So I don't know if
Duffy
you got.
said we could just film him sleeping.
Right?
People would
There
want
are
to see
people who pay
that.
for that.
Just film him sleeping while his wife throws D20s at him. It'd be great.
So we have like I don't know how many channels are involved now, 13 or 14 Twitch channels, and with that there's also a whole bunch of RPGs that are just going to be for general signups as well, and most of these Twitch streams are going to have general signups in them as well. So for those participating in GaryCon, I wanted to stress that to all the.
You mean players, Jay? General signups for
Yes,
players?
yes, absolutely.
So you
absolutely.
can play in
Most
the
of
stream
them.
game.
Yeah, most of them will have them. So my main game on Saturday night, the Grand Joust of Altamira, there's 16 spots, and I have at least 4 reserved just for general signups, and may open that to more depending on who decides to play in that. So we'll keep on. We'll get as many participants in GaryCon as we can involved in all what's going on in the with all the Twitch channels.
So Jay, I'm gonna lob a question directed at you here, since you seem to be kind of heading up the Greyhawk thing here. If someone's new to Greyhawk and is looking to get into it, are there going to be some games that are set up for them to be able to get into it and start getting into the storied past that exists?
There should be with Greyhawk Reborn too. I mean, I told them to get some entry level games in, and there's some Hamlets being run. So there's a lot of basic entry level stuff going on.
It'll say in the event description if
Yeah, we're trying to do that. We're trying to make it so that there's enough of high, mid, low, all the way across the board.
Short answer is yes.
Okay. So it's going to be labeled on the game that we know, and that way people who might be new to the system that it's run in, are you guys trying to gear it so that's friendly for them too? Or is this going to be just more concerned about, hey, we're going to make this more open to people who are new to Greyhawk as a setting?
It's more the setting as opposed to however the DM wants to run it.
There's some DMs that are going to be running it in Pathfinder. There's some DMs that are going to be running in 3.5 rule set. Some going to be running in 1E or 1.Leonard. I'm running one that's 1.Leonard because it's, and I'm more or less a 5e guy these days, but Jay's got his 1.J. Jay's table rules, but I mean it'll be spelled out pretty clear. What you're getting into, just like with all the games. I mean, there's usually like a experience required. I mean, if you're DM, if you're anyone who's DMing here, you kind of put some vague expectations in the game description so that people don't show up, inadequately prepared, right?
That's good stuff.
Did anyone else notice that Luke has suddenly learned how to pass through walls?
Yes.
Yeah, I just described a MILF spell he cast there.
It was just a simple dimension door.
Honestly, I just thought, since it's GaryCon ethereal, right? Essentially he just took advantage of the ethereal plane. I mean, isn't that how it works?
I think Luke cast Summon New Bear.
I did, as a matter of fact, yes. Yeah, that's good
awesome,
stuff.
Jay. And I wasn't tracking that there were multiple game systems for the one setting. That's fantastic. I think that's
yes, we're whatever the DM. It's completely the community goes from there's some OD&D too. Scott Casper maybe runs something OD&D. I'm not sure. I know he's running something, and you'll have Alan Growy running. I don't think he even put his events in. We're shooting for 65. I'm not sure where we are now total, but that's the goal. But I'm hoping we get over that, because that's roughly what we had during Greyhawk Con in October. So we want to get at least match that.
Not a question here,
but I might add that's an additional channel. Like that's effectively the third Twitch channel that we'll have for GaryCon. So I mean, it's really blowing up as far as our ability to reach out and touch people for the during the convention. Touch people's
Is the city of Lukesh named after you, Luke? In
And that's
Greyhawk?
no, it's
No?
complete. No, it's complete. Yeah, of course it is. Yes, yes.
Say yes, Luke.
What are you doing to me?
I thought you were serious for a second.
Okay, so Luke,
Like, really? That doesn't make
know
sense at
that-
all.
Luke, we know that you have Melf, and we know that Ernie has Tensor. What other famous characters came from your family members?
All right. So if you look at the world of Greyhawk, there's I think Alan covered a lot of this. The neat hidden gems that are in the Greyhawk map. So for the Gygaxes, there's obviously Ernst, right? That's named after Ernie. Alyssa is Elisa. Heidi would be Heidi. Sundi would be my sister Sundi. And Ulek is Luke, so he named all those places after us. One that's less obvious is the Pomarge. So the Pomarge, it was a beautiful place. It's now been overrun by humanoids, if I remember my Greyhawk lore correctly. Jay, correct me if I'm errant here.
That's correct, sir.
All right. So my mother's name is Mary Jo Powell. So Pomarge is an anagram of her name, and obviously they were scrapping when when he made the Pomarge. She was on him about something or other, right? As a good wife, it always is, right? So Perrinland is Jeff Perrin, the guy who did Chainmail with my dad, right? That's the other little gems that are out there in Greyhawk. So Kyotum's ointment. I feel so ashamed that I never realized that Kyotum was my dad's great good friend Tom Kyo, just Kyo Tom, right? I never got that. Heward is obviously you wouldn't necessarily know this, but that's Hugh Edward, my cousin on the Burdick side, and he grew up with my dad, so he was Hugh Edward Burdick. So Hugh Edward Heward. That's where those names come from. So he did this all the time with names Otto Luke Sphere. I mean, obviously Luke and Otis kind of mixed together, I think is probably what he did. Otis was my first character. Let's see. Drawmidge would be the other one. Jim Ward. Robilar is Rob Kuntz. Brian Bloom had a bunch of characters too, but I can't think of any of his.
You forgot, Luke. You forgot Arel High Sinlu.
Oh yes. Okay, great. Yes, the city in the Underdark, which is all of our names kind of jammed together. Yeah, for High Sinlu. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, so he's like, oh, what am I going to name something? And you just kind of think of who's around and include your family. That's neat. I do stuff like that when I create stuff as well. So
just look around the room.
Another question from the chat.
Speaking of which,
hey, sorry, could I? I'm here at work. Could I just jump in with something because I might have to jump off in a moment. If I can interrupt, please.
Sure, go ahead. Heath.
Someone. I can't remember who, but someone asked me after our last Luke's Lounge when I jokingly showed a can of beer that's made from the chocolates that I send over for Tim Kask. And someone jokingly said, "Hey, are you going to bring more beer to show us at Luke's Lounge?" And I've got a selection of about 10 beers here. If you want me to quickly show you, some are a little D&D and RPG themed. Some are tenuous link, but some of my favorites nonetheless. Happy for me to show them before I run away.
I think we should definitely see a little selection of beers. This is a Luke's Lounge, so yeah, that's beer is of interest.
This is more of the fringe stuff, more of the craft beer. You won't see Foster's, you won't see that sort of thing here. There's a brewery up in the hills, up at Mount Barker, called Prancing Pony, which is quite obviously named after the inn in Lord of the Rings. And they do all sorts of different beers, but they've got two that have been sort of a little RPG themed. This one is the Evil Piper. And apparently, if you don't tithe to him, he'll come and steal your beers as well as everything else. There is the Double Zeppelin. These two brothers are meant to be competitive Zeppelin flyers that would run hooch before the authorities caught them, sort of thing, in their Zeppelin. So it's a little more steampunky.
Okay.
For anyone who's
what was the first one? I saw double IPA on the second one.
First one is a West Coast double IPA.
Nice.
So
I love the fact that Australia has American West Coast IPA.
Yeah, it's big over here. It's big. There was one where they changed their label just recently. Big Shed had a West Coast IPA called the Californicator, and it had a couple. It had two bears hugging on the and they had to change that when they went from bottle to can to go into the national lines, because the national lines wouldn't let it pass their committee. So there's a sign that's got a picture of a bear with a circle and a line through it, just as a little sort of funny thing. But yeah, anyone who's a fan of GTA, these guys here have got this called Undercover Fashion Police, and this number 10 is a bit of an homage to our American friends, with someone who's got a hat that looks sort of vaguely familiar, but it also has someone here that might look vaguely familiar.
I can't recognize
yes,
that figure at all.
No resemblance to anyone I know of at all.
That's it.
I look like the dude in the hat.
Like that yeah, so they so they had a bit of fun with that. The guys who started this are ex-computer programmers. They also do this one here. This is their homage to fun sessions in the 80s. So it's called Little Banger, and it's got that sort of almost 80s arcade side-scrolling artwork.
It's got a Yars Revenge
They
feel
also
to it.
do this one in conjunction with the State Theatre. Here's something for those who are Cthulhu fans. It's a chocolate stout called Dark Arts.
Oh, that's
Nice.
That's an awesome looking can.
They also have a fun side. They got a summary. They got a summary session ale here called Happy Land. And as well as making great beers, their description, and I won't read all of them out except for this one, maybe one other, but they've got here, this was the first beer we made in our first warehouse. It was 40 degrees, which is about 105, 108 Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow.
When we made this beer. It was 40 degrees for about a week. This is all we wanted on those ridiculous days, a crisp blonde beer that's bright, dry, and refreshing with lots of hops, and plenty of it. It also has a platypus. Check that guy out. He's freaking awesome. Label. So,
all right, that's pretty cool.
Now, these guys have also done a project called the 12,000 IPA project. Basically, the same hazy IPA with different. Every can has a different label. So, you'll have the Alien Flannel Session. You'll have the Personal Dinosaur Science. You'll have the Futuristic Gladiator Society, and then my personal favorite, Personal Roleplay Convention. I went through boxes to find that one.
My man.
Okay.
Thank
so
you.
last but not least, this is my favorite. This is a barley wine. This is American barley wine. This is 10.1% ABV. This is called the Galactopus. And this is an absolute brain buncher. And you can see that it's some Cthulhu-esque octopus that's eating the moon, and he's reaching for planet Earth, and there's Australia just there.
Oh
We need that when we do
what was the alcohol content on that one?
10.1.
This goes back to the same one as the Dark Arts. He had me at the tentacle on the can.
We need that when we do happy hour next
the
year.
Dark Arts, that's a 6.5. I'm hoping to get back for GaryCon Physical in 2022, and I'm hoping to bring some of these if they're still in production because you don't want a beer that's out of date. So I'm hoping to bring some of these over. There's one that we don't have at the moment called the Sludge Beast, and it is like an 11% stout that they basically went, all right, let's fill it all the way up to the top of the hop with everything. And they threw everything in it, and it broke machinery. It gunked up this, it gunked up that, and people love drinking it.
Yeah. Speaking of beer, I had, I just had a great beer experience with a friend of mine who I met through my father, Terry Burgoyne, who did, this little card game called Adventurer that my dad enjoyed thoroughly. and he even has a card, a special card for my dad in there. But I went over to Carrie's place in New York when I was over for a school on the East Coast, and I went up there with a friend of mine, and we spent the weekend. And him and his, I think it was his good friends of his, put together this pairing of beer and foods. We had like 12 courses of appetizer and various meals paired with beer, all the way up to barley wine, which was just amazing. So I think I probably had like 15,000 calories that day, but it was amazing. So from the lightest of beers to the most stout and heavy, it was fantastic.
How are you guys able to focus on playing?
We didn't play any games. We just ate and got hammered at that point. But we played games before, and then the following day we played some games. But Adventure was a very easy card game. It was a very easy card game. So the deck, you just had 2d6 that you'd roll, and you played a character. You had 4 lives, and you were exploring, trying to kill, Dracula. They called it something else, but that's essentially what it was, a vampire for a castle. So it was fun.
So
very simple.
Sharing alcohol. Christmas, which is my birthday, was my 50th birthday this year.
Oh,
and Rom
wow,
Schwab sent me this. This is, he knows I love rye, very old Saint Nick. This thing is 60% alcohol. I had one glass of it, and I'm an avid drinker. And I was like, I will fall down the fucking stairs if I have any more of this. So a very good birthday present.
No, it is, and happy birthday, man! Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thanks.
I also turned 50.
Yep.
Actually, I turned 50
Earlier
this year
year.
too. Yeah. It's just I was in November, so crazy. Or actually, it was 2020, but whatever. It feels like this year. We're just in January.
Right.
Yeah.
It's still 2020, weirdly.
Yeah, it feels like it, guys. I mean, this is a crazy time. I'm waiting for us to all right, it's 2021. Let's turn the page. Let's get to the good stuff. But we still got this hangover that we got to get rid of.
It's like
I think the problem is
385th of March.
The major problem here is that the name of the year, it's 2021.
Okay. We'll start calling it 2021. How's that?
There we go. Maybe that might sit there and scare away the juju.
That's right. We gotta get rid of that. So, the other thing Gaxmoor. Hopefully, people are enjoying Gaxmoor. If you got any questions on Gaxmoor, send them my way. Again, I wrote it 20 years ago. I remember, just like any good GM, the morning before the adventure, going, "Oh, son of a bitch, where are these guys going to go?" and trying to flesh out the bits that where they were going, or just making it up and writing it down later. It's just exactly what I did. It was a real pleasure because my dad actually joined in and started playing with Ernie and I in that one. He played the captain of the guard, Tempros Granger, I think was his character's name, and the party met him. He was working for the governor and had escaped. If you are familiar with Gaxmoor, you get it. And they joined up with him and he adventured along with him. But it was great to be able to DM my dad and pull dirty tricks on him like he had done to me as a player. So I enjoyed that thoroughly. It was a good time. But he added in a lot of neat ideas, like the magical statues, and gave us a lot of good advice. He had a couple years of adventure creating experience, and so I think he really helped improve the adventure.
Yeah.
So if you got any questions about Gaxmoor, yeah, I mean, he had a clue. It's a couple good ideas.
Was there 3 books they just released? Was that like not just the one, not just the Lost City of Gaxmoor? Yeah.
It was the Weapons of Gaxmoor. What else is there? They throw the Under Caverns in there. What else?
The
I will
Long
hold
Valley.
them all up. Okay, so you have the main book from Trollard Games, the Lost City of Gaxmoor. It's roughly 100 and something pages long. And then you also have the Long Valley, which is the 3rd to 5th level adventure written by Stephen Chenault. And then you also have Weapons of Gaxmoor, which is a compendium added to the collection written by Christopher Clark and Turbo. By the way, Turbo is the rage behind all of the Gary Con stuff. I love him.
Yes.
So
Some of those weapon names, yeah, you have to explain
Yeah.
some of that.
yeah, you have. Let's see. Random page here. We have. Oh, I can't even pronounce that. The Hersensteller, a short sword.
It's got to be bad or good.
Hersensteller.
Hersensteller.
Heart stabber? Heart something?
Yeah,
That's what
probably
I got out
something
of
like
that.
Hersensteller.
Yeah, there's some fun names in here. I mean,
Well, Clark is a genius, man. Clark is great. I can't tell you how much he has helped me with every single Blighted Lands module out there. He has served as an editor or just someone to bounce ideas off of or give me feedback on stuff. So he's great, and really underrated writer in game designer, in my opinion. He's a nice guy. He's good with working with cars too.
Hey,
I ran him through.
Hey, Luke,
Hellgate.
someone.
He was a lot of fun.
The moment of silence.
No, I'm not. Hey, Luke,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I've just had someone turn up that I've got to see. I'll say catch you all later. Thank you for inviting me to this. Unfortunately, work calls.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. I am still going to drum up some local support for Gary Con, Luke, like you asked me last time. Work hasn't let up, and I haven't been able to catch up with a mate of mine who looks after AL here. So I'm hoping to catch up with him soon, and we'll try and start working on something for an Aussie contingent.
That'd be wonderful. Yeah, and maybe if you can find a couple Greyhawk adventures for early in the morning our time, Jay would think that's awesome. So they can fill in those last two slots.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Jay did ask me that. Jay, sorry, I haven't been able to get back to you, mate. Like I said, work has just been crazy. The other thing that's going to not block me. The other thing that's going to slow me down is my Twitch channel. I'm not an affiliate. So that's I know that was one of the requirements you said that you wanted to if I was going to try and help out. Not an affiliate, and time wise, I just not sure if I can promise as much as I want to because I don't want to let anyone down at the 11th hour.
Yep.
Well,
Honesty
there's
is
an
the
easy
best.
trick to that. You know,
Honesty is the best thing.
Yeah, you want to get past affiliate. I see 21 people in chat. That 23 people in Twitch here.
yeah, Heath, hit me
Yeah.
up, man. I will totally
Link your Twitch
computer
channel
on
right
you.
now.
Yeah,
We will
toss
keep to win to make you an affiliate.
Yeah.
Yeah, throw it up on Facebook, man.
Drop that in Discord,
Yeah.
Keith, and we'll post
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Put us in your.
Yep,
Gary Con
I'm
Facebook
on
and we'll
I'm on a
target you.
smartphone at work, and I've got someone waiting for me, so I'll have to get back to that maybe tonight. Time is it now?
I got it.
In about 6.5, 7 hours, I'll be back home. I'll be able to drop it in the Discord.
That sounds great. Yeah. All right.
Alrighty.
Hey, Luke,
Thanks, Heath.
Gotta
Take
go.
care. Yep.
Big
All
love,
right, see you
everyone.
later.
Have a great day.
All right.
See
Thank
ya.
you.
Hi, Heath.
All right. So Matt, you were.
Luke, is there anything you can preview for us to give us a hint about what to expect for this year's GaryCon module?
This year's GaryCon module is, well, I'm working on two of them. So the official module is with Chris Clark once again, and we are working on a module based on the concept for the artwork, the original artwork for GaryCon, which is not the art that is behind you. That's not that's not it. That is actually drawn. That's a Michael Siragos artwork that I had commissioned afterwards. And that is from BL1. That's the second part of BL1. That is the temple behind you, the temple that Anditz, the fire elemental lord, is overtaken. And I believe that is Anditz himself, who is right behind you. He's actually a fire elemental lord, kind of looks like an Efreet or something of that nature. And he is duking it out with a little blue figure there. And that would be a female Musri warrior from Okrim. They're the blue people of Okrim. They live they're a nomadic sort that are very xenophobic and live in the desert. However, I just gave him that as an inspiration, something to draw, which he did because the original art was based off of the classic chainmail. Chainmail and Tractics, I believe, was the miniatures battle. Sturmgeschütz and sorcery. So it is a German platoon of soldiers in Russia has been told there is a strange group of partisans. They're very, subhuman Slavs that have been, creating a bunch of problems in this area, and they need to go neutralize them. And so they go out to do that. And the other player is playing what he thinks is a fantasy campaign, and he has orcs and a troll and a sorcerer wizard with him. And they're going to look for somebody to fight or whatever it is. And they come upon each other, and lo and behold, you got Nazis fighting orcs in that. So that was the artwork that I had done, but it was there you go. He's got it up there. But it was a little brutal. I ran it by people and said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's cool." And then somebody said, "Well, a few months later, the fact that he's ripped the guy's arm off and is about to beat him over the head with it, that might not be family friendly." And I was like,
That's
"Now
right.
you tell me."
They're loaded.
Yeah. So I commissioned the other art, but and so the module is going to have elements inspired by that photo. There is some evil Nazis at the castle. I think it's called Vedelberg, I think is the name of the castle, if I remember correctly. And the Karatekia is the group of Nazis, an actual group of Nazis that was researching occult information to try to give powers to their cause, to help them in their bid for world domination.
Yeah, they were going after stuff like the Spear of Longinus and all sorts of crazy things, trying to find the Grail. Crazy, interesting group. I think they had ties to the Thule Society, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. So this was
the Thule Society was the precursor. Yeah.
So your party is going to be involved in a fantasy battle and kind of get sucked into this situation, and then you have to figure out what's going on. It's going to be a one-parter this time. I think we're going to keep it a little shorter. It's a little bit harder to coordinate, in the virtual world, a two-part, turning and all that sort of stuff with finalists and everything. So we're going to do a one shot, but it should be pretty exciting. Some fun elements that Chris and I are working on. And then there'll be a second adventure that Matt and I are working on in the city of Shintufi primarily, that involves some neat stuff. I don't want to give too much away at this point. I'm also be a one-shotter, but it'll be a lot of fun. I think we're going to convert I'm hoping to get at least one of them converted to Fantasy Grounds as well, so people can use it and get exposed to Fantasy Grounds that way. But that's it. So those are the two adventures. For some reason, we're doing two small adventures. Last year we did Stranger Tidings and Trouble in Loch Geneva.
I remember when I was 14, I drew a first edition troll pulling the leg off of a guy, and I'm surprised my parents still let me play D&D after drawing that picture.
Yeah, I mean trolls like dismembering things. That's just
and they
it's
were
in their
terrified.
nature. They can't help it.
That first edition picture always terrified me. So
just tell them it was
trolls are
Beowulf.
scary.
Troll's gonna troll.
You want to bring up our partnership with Jasper's Game Day?
Oh yes. Well, thank you very much for that reminder. So, Fenway Jones has been kind enough. I learned about Jasper's Game Day with by my friendship with Satine, and Fenway had, I guess, two friends, if I remember correctly. I haven't spoken to her directly on it, but my understanding is she had a couple friends who were young and they committed suicide very tragically and were lost. And so she said, "Hey, you know what? This is really something we need to work against." And so she started Jasper's Game Day, named after one of the young men who's no longer here with us. And so they raise money every year to raise awareness and combat suicide. And so she approached us, said, "Hey, can we run some Jasper's Game Day events at GaryCon?" And I thought, yeah, that's great. And so she's been working with the events team, including Matt, in getting basically a game room where they're going to run dedicated games all the majority of the convention, and raise money for Jasper's Game Day. So we're figuring out the exact mechanism to do that because typically we don't charge per event. At GaryCon, you buy your badge, and games are typically no additional cost to you. But this one we may add a little premium on there simply to donate that all to the charity. But they've always put together really fantastic lineup, so I'm sure there'll be some great games to be seen, and we may even stream some of them. That remains to be seen.
I actually spoke to someone earlier this week from Jasper's Game Day. I believe they're currently looking for more DMs and GMs to run some games for them as well.
Yeah, they put out a call today on Twitter for that.
Yeah, I saw something I think yesterday, and I shared that.
Great chance to participate in the community there, folks. Being able to run a game for an event like that, that's cool stuff.
100%.
Also, Jasper's Game Day is going to be previewing some of the new Adventure League content because they've gotten first right to do that at some of the events they're doing.
That's
so
really
if you're
neat.
An Adventure League person, it's really awesome.
That's really neat. And speaking of Adventures League, I know Thomas and Joe Alfano, they kind of partner up and they do both Gamehole and GaryCon Adventures League stuff. And so I think they're working on some original material for GaryCon that will have some cool new adventures to experience at GaryCon, because Adventures League has been a big part of GaryCon over the past several years. And rightfully so. 5e is a really huge, vibrant part of the community. I love many editions of D&D. I don't know if I love all editions of D&D, but I'm particularly fond of first edition, and fifth edition is I have a fondness for that as well, simply because there's a lot of good people creating great adventures, and it has raised the awareness of our hobby and is keeping it vibrant and keeping it going, as bringing in fresh blood that will keep gaming alive long after we are in our dotage, right? I think that's important.
The Greyhawk community is going to be doing a St. Jude's benefit in, I think, February. Jay, when are we doing that?
February 19th and 20th. Jimmy Duffy's involved too. He's got one of the streams. So yeah, it's for St. Jude. It's called Underdog Uprising. I'll link the schedule in the self promotion in GaryCon. I'll put the stuff in there if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean the charity work. That the community, we band together and do a lot of wonderful stuff. I played recently in Carlos Lysing's game for the Cheetah Conservation Fund, and gosh, I think what he raised. I think he raised over. I think it was about $3,000 total for the Cheetah Conservation Fund, which is pretty amazing. I thought, and it was a fun adventure too. Yeah,
especially given how finance has been for a lot of people this time of year. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's tough out there. There's a lot of folks who are really, really struggling. And then I think, gosh, I don't know. It seems like it goes one of two ways. Either your job has gotten significantly busier, or your job has kind of gone away. It seems to be the case for most folks. I sure hope we get back to something that looks like normal before too terribly long. I know we all probably feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm no different, right? I want to get back
kids,
to,
but I want them in school, out of this house.
Yeah.
We've been playing a lot of D&D together, which is great, but
you like to play far away down by the river?
Yeah.
I'd like them. I'd like it if I saw them less.
Yeah. I'm okay with working from home, continuing that, but I need my kids to go to school.
I wasn't sure if you're going to get me in a van down by the river.
I thought about going there, but then I was like, nah, let's just pull it back a little bit. We'll put on the brakes, coast it on in somewhere nice, as opposed to the sketchy place by the river. I'm sure a few of us here may have slept something off the near river and something sketchy.
It reminds me of a trip to Belgium that I made when I was a sergeant by then. But yeah, long time ago. an ill-fated trip, but it was a lot of fun. But we slept in a van by a waterfront of some kind.
I just find it funny that about 6 months before the pandemic, I decided to leave Paizo and work freelance from home, and now everybody's doing it. I feel like a fucking hipster.
Yeah,
In before.
Yeah, I
Speaking
don't know,
about
man.
virtual platforms, if
Yeah.
people, game masters are looking for help, I can offer some help with Fantasy Grounds. I'm not going to promise to be the greatest help you'll ever get, but in a half hour, I can try and at least get you familiar enough to sit there and start exploring it on your own. And if you take some time and practice, you can at least get comfortable running a game. You don't need to use every bell and whistle with every virtual tabletop. You can play it as simple as just like, hey, let's just throw the dice on the table. Exactly.
follow-
And, you know,
Showing a map.
To follow up,
Yep.
on the seminar front, a lot of people want to do seminars on painting and or like just any topic related to gaming. If you need any help with that, reach out to me.
Well, what are we doing during the
because
Saturday run-ups, the march to GaryCon on Saturdays? Wouldn't that
a
be
lot
like
of
a
the
great
a
thing
lot
to
of the
do?
run up, we're doing a lot of like training on how to do virtual tabletops on the run up, but like people are running various seminars. For example, there's a great gentleman named Temple Smith who's running a seminar on accessibility in gaming for people who are living with disabilities in gaming, and it's going to be fantastic. And he reached out to me to help him set it up, and we're going to be doing that. I'm also going to be running my hopefully non-controversial like just inclusiveness in gaming seminar. So that's going to be neat too.
It's a good subject.
and I'm working on some people over at the Fantasy Grounds College. See if maybe we can get some character creation classes, just some familiarity player wise, at least, to try and get people over there. Maybe some GM classes in it. I won't promise for other people, but I'll see what I can do to get some people who've been out there and helping for a few years at this point with people learning how to use Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I
not
think
just
that's
Fantasy
an
Grounds. If you guys know of any other platforms that have people who are willing to come out and show stuff, let us know. We would love to sit there and have them around to be able to answer questions, help you with issues. It's not really about any one platform in this. It's just about getting out there, gaming with each other, and getting as many people involved as we can.
Yeah, I heard the Fantasy Grounds University folk were going to be putting together some tutorials, right? So that'd be wonderful. And like you said, roll D20, whoever it is, informally, folks that want to teach others how to do that sort of stuff. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to learn somehow.
And the march to GaryCon, the first couple weekends before, Jimmy and I'll be on. I'm assuming that cadre will grow, but Jimmy and I'll definitely on teaching some of the basics.
Yeah, I think it's important to grow the team of people who are, kind of who dig this stuff, who want to do this sort of stuff. Because sure, we're kind of making virtual GaryCon, happen, and next year, God willing, we'll be able to gather in person, and that'll be fantastic, and all that sort of good stuff. But I think that Heath isn't going to be able to come every year. My friend Luca from Italy isn't going to be able to come every year. There's people who just can't make it each year, but they may want to come to GaryCon. And so I think virtual GaryCon can be a vibrant part and something that'll be fun and keep the community together. And maybe somebody can only make it every third year, but they can still be a part of the community. And so keeping that going is great. And honestly, gosh, in 2019, we were kind of at the physical limits of what we could fit into the hotel in Lake Geneva, right? We were at 2,800 people, and it felt pretty crowded. Yeah. It felt pretty crowded at times. So this is another way where, hey, okay, maybe I'm just not capable. It's not capable of supporting the amount of people who want to come, yet we can still have a good time. And unlike San Diego Comic-Con, I think you can still have a good time virtually at GaryCon. Has anyone been to San Diego Comic-Con? Any of you guys? Yeah. Okay, a couple of you. What did you think of it?
I was there as a guest.
Yeah, I was there with Diamond Comic Distributors, Previews World, all that. It's a madhouse.
The madhouse is nuts, right? I can't, I cannot see. I got a free, Tom DeSanto hooked me up with this. He's like, hey, I can't go, whatever. So I took his badge and I went, and it was cool. But man, it was literally like sardine everywhere, and there's just massive lines. Not enjoyable. And I love Peter Adkison, so I don't want to say anything bad about Gen Con, but Gen Con for me,
Gen Con's getting that way.
It's too darn big, man. It's too darn big.
Same with Dragon Con.
It's a different sort of experience, right? And what we're looking for. Bowfriend told me I have to strap an iPad for him on when we actually meet in person, and I have to walk around being his virtual avatar so that he can go to the next.
He'll be my avatar,
yeah,
for sure. Big beard on his chest, and maybe we'll get him made up. Maybe talk to Satine, see if she knows some makeup people who could help him out. We'll send him with glasses.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I know some of the same makeup people at Satine knows. So yeah,
and some stilts. He's gonna need stilts.
I will tell you, as one of the volunteers that was on the floor running the DM cart for Gary Con, last physical Gary Con, it was a lot. We had people everywhere. I swear I learned every inch of the Grand Geneva Hotel because, man, I ran it all, and it was huge.
It's a big place, man. It's a big place, and that going up and down and cruising all over the corridors and all that. But that GM cart, I mean, it's a small thing. I think it's a small thing, and it was much easier to do when it was 400 people versus 2,800 people. But it's just a nice thing, and people are so like, oh man, I'm the GM, and you're coming by and you're giving me a water and a snack bar. That's cool. It's really appreciated.
That was the best. I'd never been to a convention that had done that before, so that was very appreciated as a DM.
Yeah, because you're right. You're out there, you're humping, you're going thing to thing, and you might, I didn't get a chance to get the water or whatever it is. So it's nice to have that. It's nice to have that, and really the hotel is pretty courteous too. They kind of make an exemption or close an eye to let us, do runs to Walmart or Costco or whatever it is, and get those items, because typically they should cost, what is it, $4 for a water, and whatever, some ridiculous price, right? Which would obviously, as a convention, you can't do that. We can't hand out. There's 250 DMs going. We hit it every 2 hours. So, you can do the math on that. It adds up quick.
I'm going to share in Discord a picture of Red and I made a run on Saturday morning to Walmart. I'm going to share that in the Discord. It was wild.
Yeah. And I just miss seeing these guys. I just miss seeing like Red and all the Gary Con staff, really.
Yeah.
As
it's
well
kind of
as
sad. We're never going to get yelled at by Caroline again.
I'm sure she'll call up on the phone or do something, and you'll let you
pre-record some stuff on
there you go. That's
good. And a soundboard.
Yeah, I think that's actually, she would probably really like that, because that's kind of who she is.
Mike, can you make that happen?
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
You don't have to enforce anything. All you have to do is. Sorry, was that Case?
Oh no, I was gonna say Caroline's soundboard. We just type up a Word document, send it to her, and tell her to record it, and then we'll take the snippets out.
Get your badge number.
Why are you standing around? Yeah.
Dang.
She does need to throw in time to lean, time to clean.
Yep.
Oh.
It's hard to believe. I've known Caroline since she was 13, and she's like having a kid now and married, and like, oh my gosh, how did that happen?
She started working for you when she was 16.
Yes, yeah, and she was like, hey, I want to do stuff when she was like 15. I was like, that's nice, kid. And I ignored her, and then she just like showed up and started doing stuff. I was like, okay, I guess she really wants to do this stuff. So, and she just kind of forced her way in there, so in a true Caroline fashion. So, and then she was great. I learned that she was a hard worker and all that sort of stuff. So it was fun. Yeah, can't badge all these
throwing games out there and worried about them not filling up. Here's your pro tip for online gaming, and this works for any online gaming. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Advertise your stuff. Don't rely on the con site to advertise it. Hit Reddit, anywhere where they have a vague interest in your system. Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media you have. If you know how to TikTok and say, I'm looking for players.
While doing
People
a dance.
don't know about games. Yeah. If you want to do a dance, whatever you think will sit there and get people to come and join you.
Hey, if you do a
I
dance,
was gonna.
if you do a dance, I might sign up for your game. I'm just saying.
The Discord was originally designed to help DMs fill their games when people didn't show up. That's what the Discord originally did.
Wow, that's neat. So it's kind of like we used to have a marshalling area. That's what we did when GaryCon was smaller. We just had a marshalling area with a board, and people would write what they were looking for, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm not. Yeah, okay, I'm looking for a game. And then you'd be like, oh great, come on over here, and then you'd fill up your game.
Yeah, that was Discord was the digital version of that.
Okay. What is that?
And still
Birthright. Yeah,
Birthright.
When we were talking, so I know we were talking numbers earlier and whether or not you thought this would be successful. We hit, we're down to 40 right now, but we topped out about 60 for this Luke's Lounge. Just FYI.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Nice.
That's great. Fantastic, though. That was really nice.
I'm not dancing on TikTok for my adventures. I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
No,
I expect
That's fair.
it.
That's fair.
I think you could do like a little disco, little the sprinkler.
Come on, be the dancing king.
There you go. I think we could do it. Yeah. I think you could fill up the games. Oh yeah, it's great GaryCon Autumn Rebel shirt.
Great. Now I'm filming you all for TikTok. Go guys.
Yes.
Everyone vogue together.
That would be hilarious.
Yes.
Who's got their phone out?
What's that, Steven? I didn't quite hear that.
I mean, we are recording this, so we can make that a TikTok.
Look into my
Oh
eye.
no, we could totally make a TikTok out of this. That would be very embarrassing.
Hey, speaking of which, Steven, are you running anything for GaryCon? You got any delve going on?
I do not know yet. Right now, I've been working hard on various projects from companies and putting together the layout for the Delve rulebook. So that has taken up all of my time.
I don't want to hear excuses. This is
No. I need to look into it. It's just that's not my attention has been very focused for probably about the
all right.
last.
We'll let it go this time. Next Loose Lounge, I want a list of comprehensive list here. Okay. All right.
Fair.
Hey, I'm filling up a space. I'm doing 24 hours this year.
No way.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm doing the full twice.
That's crazy.
I only have 11 events.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
I'm not doing 11 events.
Is that your final answer?
To be fair, a couple of them are just I'm opening up a Zoom and we all are going to hang out like the HawaiiCon people would do. It's something for us. I'll probably go to that one and just hang out and shoot like, okay, Greyhawk, yeah, you know.
We had a question on Discord as to who's hosting the karaoke room. So maybe there you go.
You know, we do.
I will
we
host
do.
the shit out of that.
There has to be something like this going on. I mean, I'll hold Luke's lounges every day, and we'll do it for an hour or whatever it is.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah, and we'll just bullshit or whatever. But there needs to be
Equivalent of
something.
hanging out at the bar.
Right, exactly. But there needs to be this with, Cask needs to come in and do this, and hopefully Merles will do it, or whatever the case, or Joe Goodman, or and we just need to have the lounge. Maybe it's just the lounge, that's open and
Yeah.
Yeah. See if you can get Merles to do it.
There you go.
No, man, I know you don't think he'll do it. But I mean, I would love to see, Rob was talking about maybe coming to GaryCon. Rob Schwab again, and of course we had to cancel. So I'd love to have Rob come and talk. That guy's amazingly entertaining, and
Yes. Yeah, he's hilarious.
Can confirm.
Yes.
I have seen so the last time both of us were at GaryCon, we were hanging out at the bar, and I think Beth was with us, and this very drunk woman sat next to him, and he's like, "Great, It's always these fuckers. And then he just starts telling her dead baby jokes. Literally, just starts telling her dead baby jokes.
Yeah.
Doubles down, basically.
And he's got this kind of weird charm when he tells these jokes. She was all like, "This is the funniest guy I've ever met." So he was trying to get rid of her. He did not do the trick.
That sounds like a Tom Tullis move.
Was that Steven?
Yes.
Was that at GaryCon or at
Tom Tullis would do.
that almost exact thing, same thing happened?
Oh, it always happens to him. Yeah.
That
No,
almost
he
exact
had the
story.
real crazy lady. Like the woman at GaryCon, she was just nice but inebriated and a bit annoying. The one at KoboldCon, she was absolutely. I mean, Rob came running to me. He's like, "Help me! This woman won't. She just keeps on fucking talking to me." So I just wanted to see that, right? Because that's always an amazing time. So if we do this and Rob shows up, we need to get a very annoying drunk person to join in because it will be fun.
And then we
So,
we can position whoever it is right next to him on the screen as well.
So to share with the stream the picture that was brought to us by Mike Zazu here, I'm going to go ahead and change my picture here.
Okay.
And now you can see that this was the GaryCon run. This is what you're missing out on when you're not in Discord. Real live pictures of like the carnage that is like the assault upon Walmart or some other store.
Oh yeah, we got looked at like crazy people. Red and I, like I thought his tires were gonna blow. They were bulging at the bottom when we loaded the car up with all that stuff. His RAV4 was like on the verge. It was a good time.
Well, I make a Costco run on Wednesday, and I get like a flat, like one of those flat giant carts or whatever, and just fill it up, and it's loaded down. There's so much water and soda and all this sort of stuff. I mean, God, I can't even remember. It's like $5,000 in snacks or something ridiculous like that from like Walmart and Costco. So it's like a lot of snackage that goes into that. But
that was a Saturday morning run.
Yeah, because I dropped like $3,000 and we were out by Saturday morning. I was like, what?
We're empty. However,
I'm sorry I drank all the Mountain Dew.
Luke, I do have to apologize because on at least 2 of the GaryCons, your daughters are running some game on Sunday morning. They're like running My Little Pony game, and it was awesome because it was all the kids, and I was like, "Oh my god, you guys are awesome!" And I just dropped like 30 Hershey's bars because nobody eats the Hershey bars. And I'm like, "Here, kids."
No one eats Hershey bars. Okay, all right. So that's
have all of them.
I'll
Because all of our
because
we're all on
your pay for those
now
60 Hershey bars. All right.
It's because we're all on statins now, and doctor told me to cut out the sugars.
No, they just eat all the Reese's and the Kit Kats, and Hershey bars are all that's left from those like giant Costco like multi-packs of bars.
Well, think about what you just said there. That actually confirms it because it's easier to sit there and justify. Oh, look, it's just a little bit, and then
So
you 20 bags later, and you don't feel the accountability that you do for that whole weighty Hershey bar.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you, getting old sucks. Everything kind of
facts.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Except the doc is kind of like, well, your numbers aren't quite as good as they, you're kind of on the borderline here, a little bit there. Like,
what statins are.
Don't remind me. I'm going for my oil change and tire rotation here in a bit.
Yep.
You just go, doctor, never tell me the numbers.
I usually crack jokes at certain parts of the exam that probably aren't appropriate for chat.
Yes. We all know those. But
we have no idea what you're talking about.
Good answer.
Yeah, I had to get a new primary care physician because my old one is starting to get like some Parkinson's effects, and his hands were really shaky.
Oh,
enjoy it.
That could be a Benny. I don't know. It could be.
That's a magic finger you got there, Doc.
Yes, extra. I thought you just were in for your exam last month. Well, I really want to be sure.
We've got a question here from Ryan X Session Zero Clothing.
Diverting the conversation.
Yes, we're talking about milking the prostate.
What's
Does
your Dodger
anyone know
number,
where
Josh?
Steven got his shirt? I keep looking at it and figured I would just ask.
What's that?
All right, Steven.
What? Shirt, Steven.
It was,
Steven,
that was
yep.
the question
Oh,
was for me. I saw your shirt like 30 minutes ago, and I've just been like so stoked on it.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Hell Season.
So,
Yeah.
I thank you. I am a member of the Satanic Temple, and which is a humanist atheist organization that we like to play with Satan and listen to metal. And you can get this at their website, which is exactly where I got it, along with my card-carrying Satanic Temple membership card, which is a fun thing to show off at airports.
Man, we just lost 15 viewers on Twitch. So we got to watch that plug there. You know, the old associations, you know, sometimes they come back to bite us in the rear. And
we always laugh about
it's exactly that. Is growing up in the Satanic Panic, and my father was a cop and was getting trained with this shit. That's one of the reasons why I love the Satanic Temple, not only because I agree with them sort of socially and politically, but telling people you're a Satanist and a game designer in the right parts of the country is fun bar time activity.
Hey, Steven, by any chance, did you go to University of Michigan?
I did not.
Oh,
I went
well,
to
you're missing out
University
on
of
the
Northern
best part.
Colorado. Oh, yeah, I could have gone in the steam tunnels, right? So yeah, no, it's one of my it's in Schwalb is the same way. We're both kind of eye to eye on this, and he's got one, but he lives in Tennessee, so the words are gray and it's harder to read.
The eyesight test.
Because I can wear this in Seattle and nobody cares. But if I go to other parts of the country, all of a sudden my girlfriend's like, maybe you shouldn't wear that shirt. I'm like, no, baby, this is the fun part.
Hey, Luke.
This is why I bought the
you have
shirt.
to assert dominance, of course.
The
Luke, to
moment
get
I'm
us back
trained for.
on Gary.
What, I'm sorry, what was that?
Luke, what you said you were on the Cheetah charity recently. What stuff do you have coming up that we can check you out on?
Actually, I don't have too much coming up. I got a couple podcast interviews that I think I've got one with Dungeon Cast, and then there's the Bearded Nerd who wants me to come on his show. But that's it right now that I've got going on. So really just got the nose to the grindstone, man. It's even honestly just planning GaryCon and getting through regular day job has been it's been a real grind lately. As many of us have felt.
And plus, you had the Rona.
I did have the Rona. I did have the Rona.
You did have the Rona for a bit.
It was a nice little. Honestly, it was a
Glad
nice
to see
little
it
break.
didn't
I
hit
kind of wish I'd catch it like another couple weeks off. Actually, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I had to go in and check my emails. I had like 550 emails while I was sick, so I had to go in there every couple days and answer them because nobody answers my email but me. That's the thing. You know, rank has its privileges, but there is nobody to catch my stuff except me, pretty much. And I think Matt can appreciate that. He's in a pretty important role these days. So, yeah.
And that's all anyone needs to think is you had a break, and you know, oh no.
What Luke doesn't know is that all us lesser members of GaryCon just forward everything to Luke because we want to punt and not have to deal with it.
Yes. I tell you what, there's times where it's like I'm like, well, I'll just get that tomorrow. I'm kind of burnt out today, and then next thing you know, it's 5 days have gone by. And it's like GaryCon emails are. It's like, oh man, it's just a bear, yeah. But it's a great, what a wonderful problem to have. I mean, really, I mean, I'm griping, but I'm thankful that I'm able to carry on my father's legacy, rep the family, meet so many wonderful people, have so much support from people in the community. I mean, just it's crazy all the great stuff people do to be part of GaryCon and to support GaryCon. So, you know, sure, there's work that's involved. Yeah, it's you know, sometimes it's like, oh man, do I have to do this? Yeah, but the reward is worth it. And I think probably the struggle has been that we're going to GaryCons where I don't get to physically see and be able to walk around. Because believe me, this is a huge high for everybody who works on GaryCon is to be able to walk around and go through the gaming rooms and see everybody talking, shaking dice, laughing, shaking, hugging people and doing all that stuff, and go, man, you know what? That was a real bitch having to stay up late. My eyes hurt and doing what that sucked. But look at this. That's really cool.
The cyber
And so-
equivalent is just scrolling down the Discord.
No,
Yeah.
no, it means we're gonna get a PO box for Luke. Everyone's gonna send Luke mannequins, and you're gonna take pictures on the heads of the mannequins, so that way you can hug and see people. And
There you
that
go.
way we've
All
got
right.
simulated physical contact available for them.
I like that. Thank you. That's a great idea. Let's definitely do that.
Hold on.
Luke, you've got 144
Just-
followers now on the GaryCon TikTok. So you're good to go.
What? I gotta start.
we're
I
working on it.
gotta learn how to floss, man. I don't know how I can do that stuff.
No, we got to do whatever Otto's irresistible dance.
There you go. I don't know what that looks like, but what's the sound bite I got to use for that one?
I will tell you that for years I've been a volunteer at
That's
GaryCon.
the
My
challenge.
favorite
You
thing
put
to
it out to the
volunteer for-
community.
My favorite thing to volunteer for is a
You put
DM
it out to
card.
the community.
All of it.
It'll be the
It is
Macarena.
I actually have done the Macarena with my daughters. I taught them the Macarena.
There you go.
And
See, you're halfway there.
And the Gangnam Style dance. We did that,
that
when
one
they were
too.
kids
The
too.
horse dance.
Yep, we did that. So there you go.
Could be
Other
achy
than that, it's-
breaky heart. Who knows?
Oh, I haven't done the
Some
achy
line
breaker heart,
dancing.
but I can two-step.
So I'm guessing none of you guys used to go to Medusa's in Chicago. I'm taking it. Yeah, okay.
No.
That's fine.
I did go to the Safe House in Milwaukee, though.
Been there a few times.
Love the Safe House.
Yeah.
It was good times.
It was fun.
That was good stuff. Well, you know what? It's getting a little bit late. I should probably sign off and get back to work. I sure appreciate everyone joining me. We didn't really talk too much about what we're gonna put on Twitch, but from talking to Matt and in conference with Jimmy, Prater and Rift, who are the wonderful crew that is assisting with making so much of virtual GaryCon come to life and get to you guys. We're going to be, we have the March to GaryCon. We're putting together some gaming on Saturday, a couple events on Saturday, potentially some tutorials before, after, that sort of thing. And then on Sunday, we're looking at putting together some sort of a proving grounds, or maybe your henchman streams, where you get to play your off character and run those sorts of things. So that could be fun as well. And then obviously streaming during GaryCon. But I totally forgot where I was going with that, Matt. My train of
We
thought.
are doing it. So the road to or the March to GaryCon. Yep, those first 3 weekends.
Yeah, I figured, it's in March, so the March to GaryCon. I figured that was clever. I wanted to pat myself on the back for that one. Yeah, right. Yeah, so good job.
It works.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that. We're putting together some good stuff. But obviously, totally forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, I better get back to it because I got to get some emails out to people tonight and do that sort of thing. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Really appreciate it, and we will catch you at next Luke's Lounge, hopefully next week.
Back
Cheers,
to the coal
everyone.
mine.
That's right.
Everybody.
Have a good night.